Confused? Distracted? Slow? Could it all be in your head? Or could it be what we call brain fog? Let's look into the common symptoms of brain fog, or also known as fibrofog. So before we go into the symptoms of brain fog, I think first we should look into the causes of brain fog.
Let's start at the very beginning.
So what causes brain fog? The most common cause of brain fog is actually fatigue. Surprising, right? But you know what I mean. Things that cause fatigue. Lack of sleep, depression, pregnancy, etc., etc.
I had no idea.
Those are the most common causes of brain fog. So with that in mind, we're going to look into what exactly are the symptoms of having brain fog. How do I know I'm having it? How do I know I'm not getting dementia?
Tell us, please.
Okay, we'll go into it.
Oh, thank goodness.
So there are really a ton of symptoms for brain fog. And I mean a ton. Things like feeling zoned out, spacey, confused.
Narf!
Losing your train of thought mid-sentence, which I'm super duper guilty of. Forgetting what you were doing as you're doing it. Having to ask people to repeat what they were saying because it fell right out of your head. Finding it really difficult to take in new information, such as learning, or maybe like if you're reading a book. I know I'll read a book sometimes and read the same paragraph about 1,000 times and still have no clue what it said.
How can you read this? There's no pictures.
Another symptom can be being unable to make actual decisions. And this is more like a confusion. Like, sometimes it feels like you have an actual roadblock in your brain because it's like on the tip of your tongue. Like, you know you should do something, but can't remember which is the better option or why. It's like you should know it, but it's just not coming to you. Mixing things up without realizing it. I actually do this quite a lot, where I will mix things up that are sort of related and usually start with the same letter and have the same amount of syllables, and it'll be the completely wrong word. And honestly, I think that's more impressive that my brain could get that close with that many factors and not remember the stupid, simple freaking word.
Narf!
Like, really? Really? Come on, brain. Come on. Having a really hard time paying attention. This can be hard with like watching new shows, new movies, things like that. Trying to pay attention to the plot can just be awful if you haven't seen it before, which is why a lot of us tend to gravitate towards nostalgic things that we already know word for word. It's just easier on our brains. And not being able to pay attention can even get into like, I've walked into walls before. Like, it's not fully walking into a flat wall. It's more like the corners. Like, you're a little too close and you know, I don't know.
I've been walking into walls all week.
Do you go through that? Maybe it's not just me. Put it in the comments, please.
Narf!
And then later you're like, where did I get this mystery bruise? Yeah. Mystery, right. Being easily distracted.
Squirrel! Where?
It's not just ADD, it's brain fog too, because your brain's like so tired and it's so hard to focus that you're like, squirrel, squirrel. I've actually been having a lot of trouble with finishing this video because of that, because I'm getting tired, and so I'm starting to be like, what's that over there?
Where is where?
I'm sure I'll be cutting out 5 minutes here and there of me staring off in the distance.
Narf!
Now, I'm sure a lot of you are worried, is it brain fog or is it Alzheimer's? I watched a really good lecture from a doctor that works with lots of Alzheimer's patients on this.
Here's what happens. I have a thought. And what I do when I have a thought, I want to make coffee. What I do is I put it in working memory. Now, working memory is a real important part of your brain because it allows you to stay focused on a task or hold multiple pieces of information in your brain at one time. Here's the bad news. It's very small. It can only hold about 5 to 8 chunks of information at a time. It allows you to multitask, to organize, to plan, to do things. So I put coffee in that working memory and I go to make coffee. But before I can make the coffee, telephone rings. If Betty had just said hi, bye, I could have still made coffee. But it's Betty. She wants to meet today at 2 o'clock at the mall, down by Macy's, outside. We're going to go eat chocolate. Who am I not going to call? Margaret, what will I not have with me? Pictures. Why? Too many things. I lost them. Here's what happens, though. Where's coffee? Long gone, it got dumped out because because of all the stuff that Betty wanted to talk about. Here's what I could do at 25. I could look around the environment and I could have picked up on a visual cue, and it would have been real simple. It was the coffee pot, because I'd done so few things in the kitchen that seeing the coffee pot was enough. By the time I'm 55, how many things have y'all done in the kitchen? Way too many. And so you look around and the coffee pot will not jump out at you anymore. What you have to literally do is go back for a stronger cue. I need a stronger episodic cue to tell me. So what I have to do is go back to where I had the thought. I have to be physically in the place. I've got to get myself mentally in the place. Visual cue, verbal cue, touch cue. And as soon as I get back there and I'm in the right place, there it is. Make coffee.
If we had a conversation earlier, there might be a couple key words or phrases that might trigger at least some remembering of the memory. Sometimes there are complete blackouts for me where I don't remember any of it. Get your butt out of my face. But other times, like, it usually just takes a couple key phrases or things that jog your memory. Whereas those don't exist for those people. They'll not remember things that happened completely, and nothing will trigger that memory either.
Here's dementia. Starts off the same. Here I am, I'm sitting, I'm watching a movie, I decide I want coffee. I go to the kitchen. Phone rings, I talk to Betty. We're going to meet at 2 o'clock at the mall. I hang up. I look around in the kitchen. Aha. Look here. I told my son there were people sneaking up through the basement and stealing toilet paper and eating my food. Here is the evidence. See this dirty glass? Well, they left it behind this time. I told him they were sneaking up through the basement.
The thing that really separates brain fog from Alzheimer's is actually the fact that people with Alzheimer's, yes, they have all these things that we have, but they also have kind of an extreme paranoia attached to it, where they'll see a water bottle out and be like, oh, that person's sneaking them into my house again. Or someone I knew who had Alzheimer's or dementia had the plug for the bathtub, and they were taking it with them everywhere because they were sure someone was going to steal it. And there was no reason for this, and they couldn't really even explain it. But that is a very common thing that comes with the Alzheimer's dementia thing is a paranoia.
Now, let's see. What else was I going to do? Well, look here. Here's another piece. See, they get in here. They don't even finish it off. That is ridiculous. Do you see what I'm saying? And I spend the day roaming about doing things that are illogical exactly, except they make sense to me because I'm just picking up on what? Whatever is around, yeah, but I'm not hooking it all together.
Nothing will jog their memory, and they're super paranoid about weird things that don't make a lot of sense.
At 10 minutes after 2, the telephone rings. Now, y'all just got what? Your reminder, didn't you? Your remember cue. And it worked for you, but for me, I've got dementia. Hello? Well, hey, Betty. How are you? Where am I? Well, I'm at home. Where are you? Well, what are you doing at the mall? Well, if you wanted me to come to the mall, you should have called. Betty, I can't read your mind, sweetheart. No, you didn't call me. It wasn't me. Betty, I have not talked to you today. I don't know who you talked to. It wasn't me. Huh? No, Betty, it wasn't me. Did you call Margaret? Maybe you called Margaret. Talk to her. Betty, listen, I hate to be ugly, but I think you better call the doctor. I think you may have that dementia. Not normal. Not normal at all. Is it going to help to tell me to remember? Because can I? No. And this is where we've got to change attitudes.
And that seems to be the difference. So unless you're having this weird paranoia about like you think someone's putting half-drunk water bottles in your house. You're worried someone's going to steal things like the bathtub drain. Unless you're doing things like that, I really don't think you need to worry. Always get checked out just in case if you're really worried about it. But hopefully that puts your mind at ease a little bit. I know it did for me when I heard that. And if you're looking for some ways to maybe relax the brain fog and help it, some great things you can do are vagus nerve exercises. And I have a video right here about those. And you should check it out along with a couple of my other videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you think it'll help other people you know. I appreciate you watching, and keep on surviving.